Hello everyone, good evening. You're watching Awaz News. I'm Kubrali, bringing you today's latest top stories of Canada. Two Ontario residents who were on a cruise ship that's been hit by a deadly hantavirus outbreak are currently in isolation but are not believed to be at risk of transmitting the virus, Health Minister Sylvia Jones says. Jones made the comment during an unrelated news conference on Thursday afternoon, hours after it was revealed that two Ontario residents who were on board MV Hondius had returned home. In a statement, Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand said a third affected Canadian was in Quebec and is also in isolation. Anand has said that all three affected Canadians are asymptomatic at this point. However, public health experts have previously said that it can take up to a month to develop symptoms after exposure to the hantavirus. Jones said that she anticipates that the monitoring period for any Ontarians potentially exposed will be around 30 days as a result, though she said that the situation is fluid. So far, 8 cases of hantavirus has been reported among the 149 passengers on the cruise ship outbreak, 3 of which have resulted in death. The Ontario government is moving ahead on a cost-sharing agreement worth up to $300 million to advance the construction of a new nuclear generating station at the Bruce Power site in Ontario. The deal between the Independent Electricity System Operator, IESO, the Crown Corporation responsible for operating Ontario's electricity market, and Bruce Power would lay the groundwork for the construction of the new facility, a project known as Bruce C. The government says the deal is a major step toward a project that will eventually make the Bruce site the largest nuclear generating facility in the world. It would also be Ontario's first large-scale nuclear project in over 30 years. The agreement would help fund a variety of work such as pre-construction and site preparation, planning, workforce planning, and engagement with First Nations and the wider community. The preparatory work, expected to be complete by 2030, would pave the way for the construction of the Bruce C facility, a proposed 4,800 megawatt nuclear generating station, which the government says would provide enough electricity to power 4.8 million homes. Ontario Energy Minister Stephen Leach formally announced the agreement at a news conference Thursday morning. Daniel Tish, President and CEO of the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, also spoke at the announcement. He cited an economic impact report by his organization that estimated Bruce C could contribute $238 billion to Canada's GDP through supply chains, construction, indirect jobs, and other factors. Leach said the report includes the impact to other industries of having reliable energy with predictable costs. He noted nuclear power has one of the lower levelized cost of electricity, a key metric for comparing what different power type costs over the lifetime of a power plant. He predicted the Bruce C project would create 18,900 net new jobs per year. Currently, Bruce Power operates 2 generating stations, Bruce A and B, with a total 8 reactors. The total number of new reactors for Bruce C has not yet been determined. The government says it is committed to engaging with First Nations communities on the new facility. Nuclear power currently provides about 50% of Ontario's electricity supply. The Ford government has doubled down on nuclear power as part of its long-term energy strategy of the province, extending the life of existing nuclear facilities in Pickering and Darlington. There has been an outpouring of community support for the owner of a North Vancouver cafe after racist confrontation left her shaken over the weekend. Dewey Kim said the incident began Saturday afternoon when a customer picked up the wrong takeout order of an unattended counter at Kim's cafe and left only to return an hour later without the food and demand a refund. The owner said she initially refused, arguing it was not her mistake and that she already had to make food with the customer whose food was taken, leading to the first confrontation. Kim said she ultimately did provide a refund, but things still escalated when the customer returned the following morning and threatened to have the owner's immigration status investigated. The customer also blamed the business for a previous day's mix-up because staff do not write names on the takeout bags. The recording then shows the woman shouting expletives on her way out of the store. "Go back to Korea, where you belong," she yells. "Go back to your country." Kim told Awaz News she received a lot of support from regular customers since sharing the recording online. While Kim has not reported the incident to police, North Vancouver RCMP confirmed they are aware of the social media post and will be reaching out to the cafe owner. Manitoba is declaring a public health emergency over HIV infection rates. Dr. Brent Rusin, the province's chief provincial public health officer, made the declaration during a news conference Thursday morning. Manitoba continues to experience some of the highest rates of HIV in Canada, he said. Rusin said in 2024 the province had an infection rate of 19.5 cases per 100,000 people, roughly 3.5 times the national HIV infection rate of 5.5 cases per 100,000 people. Last year, 328 new HIV cases were reported in Manitoba. Rusin noted there were 142 cases in 2021. Rusin said injection drug use, homelessness, mental health issues, along with a rise in other sexually transmitted or blood-borne infections are fueling the rising cases, as well as various barriers in access to care. The Northern and Prairie Mountain health regions tend to see the highest rates, Rusin said, but the highest number of cases are in Winnipeg. He said Indigenous people are disproportionately affected. Rusin said Manitoba has spent $8 million on HIV treatment and prevention, including increasing access to medication in the past 4 years. The federal government announced on Wednesday a series of oversight reforms to the College of Immigration and Citizenship Consultants in an effort to strengthen protections for people seeking advice. A news release Wednesday from the government said the reforms will improve access to trustworthy quality representation for those looking for immigration and citizenship information and services. The announcement comes amid a number of reported cases of fraud and scams in recent months and years among licensed immigration consultants in Canada, something Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Lena Mitledge-Diab says the government wants to address. The new regulations set to come into effect in mid-July will allow the College of Immigration and Citizenship Consultants to strengthen its discipline process, which will mean increased penalties for consultants who are found to have committed misconduct. More information about individuals will also be required on the college's online public register of licensed consultants beginning April 2027, and the college will be directed to add new reporting requirements to improve transparency, according to the release. The new regulations also aim to improve the college's investigation process for misconduct and allow the minister to appoint an individual to take over the college board if the current leadership fails to meet its responsibilities. Additionally, guidelines will be established for the college compensation fund created to help victims of fraud perpetrated by dishonest consultants, the government said. Officers with the Canada Border Services Agency, CBSA, found nearly 250 kilograms of suspected cocaine in shipping container in Halifax. Officers say a shipment from Dominican Republic was flagged by the CBSA's targeting center on March 3rd. They detected 1,178 illicit packages in the shipment using X-ray technology, according to a CBSA news release. The drugs were wrapped in carbon paper and concealed within flatbread. The release reads, upon further inspection, multiple field tests confirmed the substance as suspected cocaine. The CBSA says an organized crime group was importing 248.7 kilograms of cocaine. Officers identified Peter Pompeo, 58, from Montreal as the importer. He was suspected of working with Taylor Bixby, 35, and Zachary Daniel RZ, 33, both from Ontario, to traffic the cocaine. All three suspects were arrested and charged with importing a controlled substance conspiracy to import a controlled substance, possession of a controlled substance for the purpose of trafficking, conspiracy to traffic a controlled substance. The accused are set to appear at the Ontario Court of Justice in Newmarket, Ontario on May 13. A frost advisory has been issued for a wide swath of GDHA ahead of overnight temperatures that could drop to near or below the freezing mark. Environment Canada has issued the advisory for most areas surrounding Toronto, including Mississauga, Brampton, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Markham, and Durham region. The advisory is not currently in effect for the city of Toronto itself. Patchy frost is expected overnight and Friday morning as temperatures drop to near or below the freezing mark, the advisory states. Damage to plants, trees, and crops is possible. Cover up plants, especially those in frost-prone areas. Environment Canada says that the temperature in Toronto is expected to plunge from a high of 12 Celsius on Thursday afternoon to an overnight low of 2 Celsius. The cold, however, will be short-lived. The weather agency is forecasting a daytime high of 15 Celsius on Friday and Saturday. That is still below the typical high seen at this time of year of 17 Celsius, but is much closer to seasonal norms.
Thank you for watching Awaz News. This is Kubra Ali. I'll see you tomorrow again. Have a wonderful evening.